So here is your Ultimate Biology EOC study guide. And so what we're going to do is do this in a couple of videos. Today we're going to do pages 1 through 3 of the study guide. Now this goes along with page 7 in your notes. So you might want to turn to page 7. We need to know that each organic molecule is assembled from smaller organic compounds. So what I'd like for you to do is circle smaller and write the word subunit and the word monomer. All of these mean the same thing. And then molecule, we can also write polymer. Now we had a saying in my class, please come late, Nate, and ask me to narrate. So if I ask you what a carbohydrate is made of, you know that it starts, what it's made of, starts with the letter M. And it turns out it was actually written right here for you, monosaccharide. The functions are going to be in your notes on page 7. We want to make sure that we know the two main functions, one of which is going to be long-term energy, and one of which is going to be short-term energy. There are actually two tests. One of them tests for starch, so you'll want to look in your notes for which one tests for starch, and one of them tests for glucose. So make sure that you look up what those two are. This video isn't going to give you all the answers, but it's going to help you think about it and know where to find it. When we look at lipids or fats, we know that that is going to start with the letter T. And it has two main jobs as well, so you'll want to look in your notes at what those two main jobs are. And there's only one test that we use. For proteins, proteins are made of, I sure hope we know this one, starts with A and A. And there are actually 6 jobs. So you'll need to go through and list all 6 jobs. There is one test for protein, starts with the letter B. Nucleic acids are made of, starts with the letter N. The function, there are going to be 2 functions. One of them stores genetic information. Is that DNA or is that RNA? And the other is to code for proteins. There are no tests for this, so we put NA for not applicable. Okay, as we move forward a little bit more, we want to look at some questions about these. Enzymes, hormone, antibodies, and receptor molecules are all, starts with a P, which means they are composed of AA. Match the molecule with its functions and subunits. And so when we look at this one, we want to know how plants store sugars. And so as you go through, all of these are there on pages 7, 8, 9, 10. These notes go all the way through page 10. And so these notes go through page 10. These are 7 through 10. Then we get to enzymes, and enzymes are on page 11. And these are a really important part of this class. You do need to be able to label the image below using the following terms. So we can see that this plus this gives us this, which turns into this plus this plus this. Enzymes are what type of organic molecule? What determines the shape? Are they reusable? How do pH and temperature alter the activity? Ooh, let's look at that question. Number 5. This is one that I want to give you a hint on. Please make sure that you include the word that starts with D, D something. How do pH and temperature alter the activity? They can D something then. If we change the pH or change the temperature, we might D something then. But how does that alter the activity? Does it increase the activity or decrease the activity? So make sure, because I'm not going to write it, I'm just going to say it, that you tell me whether it increases the activity or decreases the activity and why. For number 6, make sure that you refer to the chart. Remember that optimum means best. Okay, so make sure that you have completed all of that. Then you're going to be ready to review cells. And cells are going to be found on starting on page 23 through page 26. So this next section, again, remember, I'm not going to give you all the answers. The point of this is helping you go back to your notes. But cells are going to be in your notes, pages 23 through 26. When we look here at the cell parts, we need to fix this. It says found in plants, animals, both. We also need to add pro and U. If we look at a nucleus is found in eukaryotes, both plant and animal. And you should be able to tell me the job of the nucleus as well. The cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane, is actually found in, I'm not going to tell you, but I sure hope you know, because there are 4 parts that are found in cells. When we look at the cell wall, the mitochondria, vacuoles, chloroplasts, ribosomes, all of this is in your notes. You just have to read them carefully. Of course, it might be a little hard to remember, and that's how we're going to read our notes, because just me writing it and you writing it doesn't help us remember as well as reading through your notes first. When you look at labeling the plant and animal cells below, these are the really important organelles that you should be able to notice. I want to help you with this one. It starts with a V. And I want to make sure that you notice that on this one there is an inside barrier and an outside barrier. So make sure that you label those as well. Really important to notice that both of these cells have these curvy, squiggly things. You should know that that increases the surface area. Name 3 things that plant cells have that animal cells do not have. This next section is still on cells. It's going to be prokaryotes and eukaryotes. How are they different from each other? Do they have them or not have them? So membrane-bound organelles, prokaryotes do not have. Eukaryotes do have. Ribosomes, do they both have them? Do neither of them have them? Does one and the other? Types of chromosomes. Let's remember that prokaryotes have circular chromosomes, including plasmids. Remember, plasmids are teeny tiny pieces of DNA that bacteria can trade with each other. Eukaryotes have what we call linear chromosomes. Okay? And that might be, nope, we have one more page. So we did the macromolecules, and then we did cells, 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 and now we're going to do transport. So your transport notes are going to start. They are immediately next. They are there on page 29 through 31. Okay, notes, page 29 through 31. In osmosis, water moves from an area of high concentration to an area of blank concentration with no energy used. Again, we're asking about diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and active transport. So this first question is giving you a good review of transport. Which one requires energy, active or passive, and which one moves from low to high, and which one moves from high to low. When you get to number 3, I'm actually going to help you by drawing a picture, and I hope that when you take tests in your EOC that you'll draw these pictures as well. If a freshwater plant cell is put into salt water, so here is our plant cell, we're going to put it into salt water. We want to label that there is high salt in the water, which actually means that there is low water, which would mean that there is high water in the plant. We know that water moves from high to low, so the cell will lose water, and shrink. So for number 4, make sure that you draw a picture. If a saltwater plant is put into fresh water, what will the cell do? What is homeostasis? We've talked about this word a lot. In each of the situations pictured, indicate whether the cell will gain water, lose water, or stay the same. Please make sure that, remember, salt is too big to move. So only the water will move. So this is a good review of active-passive transport. The very last part is a review of photosynthesis and respiration. You do have to do through number 10. So please make sure that you do through number 10. It asks you the equation for photosynthesis in what organelle. You should be able to draw me a picture of this organelle where photosynthesis happens. What gas does a plant use? What gas does it produce or release? What gas does a plant use? It is CO2. Produces or releases, that's O2. The equation for respiration, where does it occur? The difference between aerobic and anaerobic. There are 2 differences. One is the speed, so tell me which one is faster, and one is the amount of ATP. So one is faster, but it produces less ATP. One is slower, but it produces more ATP. Number 7, where does lactic acid fermentation take place? Guess what? We can cross that one out. We do not need to know that one. Where does alcoholic fermentation take place? You know what? Actually, let's change this to what is lactic acid fermentation and what is alcoholic fermentation. Draw a picture of the yeast and balloon experiment. Label the parts, what process is happening, and what process is happening here in this image. Make sure that you notice the sun in that image as well. Okay, so this is as far as we're going to get. We're reviewing macromolecules, we're reviewing cells, we're reviewing cell transport, and we're reviewing photosynthesis and respiration. So you should be able to finish this up tonight. Might take you about 15 more minutes or so. Thanks for watching.